Thank you so much for joining. Joining me tonight is Ashely Leone, a registered dietitian. Ashely, you've been working with us for several years and have put together meal plans, and then a whole bunch of wonderful things. And just really appreciate all you joining, because what Ashely's going to share with you tonight is actually some really tactical strategies on how to overcome like the common pitfalls of holiday overeating, and share some, I think we're going to talk a little bit about protein as well, Ashely. We're also going to have a giveaway tonight. We're going to be giving away personal training, plus a nutritional consultation with Ashely as well. And just hope this will be a fun event. Like everybody, we're going to go for about 30 to 45 minutes. So it'll be short, but it'll be packed with, a bunch of information. Hopefully you guys find this valuable. We appreciate all of you on our email lists and as our clients and trainers as well. So Ashely, I will let you take it away. Hopefully that was a decent enough intro for you, but I'll let you take it away. And again, thanks everybody for joining. Like I said, there will be a giveaway for some training and services from Ashely as well, who is a registered dietitian. There'll also be some Q&A, correct, Ashely?
There'll be some Q&A as well, and I encourage everyone to participate or ask questions throughout. This is your opportunity. If you have any sort of nagging questions that you have sort of around the holiday eating theme, but around nutrition, you can ask me throughout the presentation or save it to the end. I'll give you a Q&A period at the end as well. So I'm going to get started. I'm just going to share my screen. I have some slides. And we'll get started.
Yeah, and where's everybody? If you want to type in the chat, where's everybody joining us from? Just type it quickly in the chat before we get started. I'd love to know where everybody is, what city you're in. We're across North America, so it's great to see people all across different provinces and different cities. But go ahead, Ashely. I'll let you. I don't want to take up your time. Go ahead. We'll
perfect. Okay.
We'll keep her going.
So we're going to get started. So as Mike was saying, I'm going to talk a little bit about holiday eating tips and tricks. So we can hopefully get you through this holiday season as healthy as you are going into this holiday season. Because I know you guys have been working with in-home trainer a lot, and you have that whole mindset, that healthy mindset. And sometimes that gets a little bit derailed in the holiday seasons with the nutrition aspect. So I'll give you some tips. And then also I'll be asking you guys for some of your own tried and true tips and tricks, so we can share what we've learned. As Mike was saying, I'm Ashely Leone. I'm a registered dietitian. I'm also a sports dietitian. Primarily, my clients are athletes, and I deal with nutrition strategies for optimizing their performance, but I also do some everyday nutrition as well. So I wonder if people can enter in the chat so Mike's asked you where you came from, but also what your background is. Are you a trainer or a fitness professional? Are you an athlete yourself? Are you someone who's doing everyday workouts and you're just interested in nutrition and that's why you're here? Or are you some sort of a mix, all of the above? So I can sort of get an idea of where people are coming from. Okay, so I see people are from all over: Richmond Hill, Brampton, Laval. There's a trainer in the audience. Any other people there? Okay, so we have a good cross section of different backgrounds, which is great. Yeah, another personal trainer. Awesome. See. So here to learn about nutrition, that's wonderful. So what I'm planning to do is to help you learn how to enjoy food during the holiday season and to make better choices, have a healthier way of eating as well. We'll look at identifying the hidden eating habits that might be depleting your energy during the holidays. We'll learn 5 tricks to avoid overindulging at holiday parties, and then we'll finish out with some tried and true nutrition swaps that can make your holiday eating a little bit healthier. So this is just a little cartoon to get things started. So we all know, as Mike was saying, that having a little bit of protein in our diet is good. Venison is one of those proteins. It's pretty low in fat, although I'm sure these reindeer aren't happy to learn that Santa's thinking about venison. So what are the hidden eating habits that may be depleting your energy? Can anyone tell me some of the eating habits that they feel may be depleting their energy?
High glycemic load.
High glycemic load. Oh, you're hitting the nail. You're hitting the target right off the bat. So we're going to talk a little bit about high glycemic index foods. So that's great. Any other ideas?
I see too much caffeine from someone in the chat.
Too much caffeine. So yes, absolutely. I haven't identified that, but too much caffeine can actually have a counterproductive effect because it can actually keep you up at night and drain you of adequate sleep, which will make you more tired in the long run. So that's a great idea. Overeating absolutely can make you very tired. Sweets and candy, alcohol can dehydrate you, make you tired, ruin your sleep as well. Processed food, irregular eating. Okay, so all of you are getting to where I'm going with this. So number one is too much sugar. And so many of us go into the holidays with a baseline amount of sugar that we generally eat, but most of us will eat a lot more sugar than we normally eat over the holidays because we're going to work and people are bringing in treats, or kids are bringing sweets home, or we're getting sweets as gifts as well. So the problem with this, as we can see in this graph, is that sugary sweets are actually what we call high glycemic index foods. And what this means is they get broken down into their sugar components very quickly and absorbed into our bloodstream very quickly. So you get this quick glucose spike in your blood. You get the energy from the sugar, which is great immediately in the first 30 to 60 minutes, but then your blood sugar plummets and you have this energy low directly after eating sweets. So what we're looking for is a more sustained energy release. So we want to look for those complex carbohydrates instead. So here we're talking about sort of high fiber, whole grain carbohydrates that act sort of like a time release capsule for energy. So instead of grabbing a white bagel at lunch, if you had some quinoa or barley, that would be more slowly digested and would get you through to dinner a little bit better. Instead of having as a snack those gummies, like some gummy bears, then those are digested really quickly, or some candy canes. They give you a quick sugar jolt, but then you have a drain of energy after. So opt instead for those more complex carbohydrates. And if you do feel like treating yourself in the holidays and having a little bit of sugar, that's fine too. All foods fit in moderation, but really be mindful of the quantity that you're having. So think ahead of time about sort of what the portion size might be. So maybe it's a quarter cup of jelly beans instead of a full cup of jelly beans, and have it with the meal so that the other foods within the meal slow the digestion of that sugar down and you don't get these big energy spikes. The other thing that really drains our energy is actually having too much fat. And so the type of fat I'm talking about here is sort of the saturated fat that you find in animal products, like the fat on the skin on chicken or turkey, or the fat on steak, or fried foods as well. And these are particularly hard on us at the end of the day. So if you have a big meal before you go to bed, it's very fatty, it's slow to digest. This can affect the quality and the duration of our sleep time. So we want to make sure the meals that we have before bed are lower in fat, leaner meals, and then we'll have a more restful sleep. So how can you change this around in the holidays? So if you have the opportunity, a holiday brunch might be better than a big holiday dinner. So that will help you have time in the afternoon to digest these fattier, more indulgent foods. Or if you have a holiday dinner, be mindful about what you're choosing at that dinner. Choose a greater proportion of leaner foods and have the fat as a little accompaniment on the side. It shouldn't make up your whole meal. Skipping meals, I think someone identified this in the chat, and this is a strategy that many of us do use going into the holidays, because you think, oh, geez, I got a holiday party at the end of the day, so I really don't deserve to have breakfast, or not very much for breakfast and not very much for lunch, and then I'll have all the calories saved up and I'll go to the holiday party and there'll be no problem. The problem with this is twofold. So one, you're getting to the holiday party and you're starving. And what our brain does when we're depleted of food and depleted of energy is it actually goes, we really crave those foods that are going to give us a big energy rush. So we're craving the high fat, high sugar foods, and that's going to be what we're going to tend to eat more of at the holiday party. And that's completely counterproductive. We're not going to want the carrot sticks or the celery sticks. We're going to go for the chips with the dip, because it looks really super tasty, because this is what our brain is wanting. It wants us to really replenish our energy stores. So skipping meals will make you more indulgent later on, but then also skipping meals really deprives you of an energy source during the day, and this will make you, of course, very fatigued during the day as well. You won't be able to do your workouts with your trainers. You won't be able to be as mindful at work. So having a good complex carbohydrate source is really important for us for our cognitive processing, because carbohydrates are the main fuel source for our brain. So instead of just grabbing a granola bar for breakfast and a bagel for lunch, making sure you continue to have nice complete meals throughout the day, and don't use skipping meals as a strategy to reduce your calories, because it probably will do the opposite. The next tip I have, and I think this was also mentioned inadvertently, so dehydration can be a real energy drain. So one holiday practice that leads to us hydrating less, not hydrating as well, is drinking too much alcohol. So the alcohol itself can have a diuretic effect, and it can, we'll maybe be more prone to drinking alcohol rather than replenishing with fluids like water or mineral water or herbal teas or something like that. The other problem with dehydration is it increases your perception of fatigue. So being well hydrated can make you feel more energetic. And it can also help with your cognition. So there's been studies, for instance, in school children, when they find as little as 300 milliliters of water provided to the kids before a cognitive task can improve their memory and recall. So what I normally suggest with my clients is to use water to their advantage by having water at regular intervals throughout the day. So this could be having a water bottle at your desk and sipping on the water throughout the morning, and then refilling it at lunch and sipping on it in the afternoon. Or for those who aren't so hot on the idea of sipping from a water bottle, to ensure that before every meal you have a glass of water. So treating it almost like habit stacking it with the meal. So treating it almost like you would like a medicine, for example. So you're drinking the water, then you have the meal, and you can have the food with the meal as well. And the next meal you do the same thing. And then the fifth element that I find, particularly in the holidays, people fall down on is proper protein spacing. So what a lot of us will do is not have a lot of protein throughout the day, and we have all of our protein at the end of the day, or a large proportion of it, maybe 80% of our protein calories we would have at the end of the day with a big steak or a big turkey breast, or if you're vegetarian, a big vegetarian chili, where earlier on in the day you're grabbing maybe a fruit for breakfast and something quick, and a granola bar for lunch or something like that, and you're not having those protein you're not meeting those protein opportunities earlier on in the day. And the problem for this strategy is that, again, this can really affect your sleep quality and duration, because having a big meal that's hard to digest before bedtime, because protein's more slowly digested, can really affect your sleep quality and duration as well. So what you want is a moderate amount of lean protein for your dinner meal, with lots of vegetables, and a whole grain carbohydrate, and you'll sleep beautifully. And this will really help you be energetic during the holidays. The other problem with not spacing your protein throughout the day is this can really affect your ability to repair and build muscle, and feeling strong and active can really be helpful in feeling energetic. So what we're looking for is 20 to 30 grams of protein, or 40 grams if you're a bigger individual, spaced every 3 to 4 hours throughout the day. Some other elements that are actually quite helpful in boosting energy and boosting mood that I've just added in here are probiotics, vitamin D, and zinc. So probiotics are good bacteria that are found in fermented foods that can help improve your gut flora, improve the health of your gut. And there's been a lot of recent research about the gut-brain axis and how having a nice, healthy gut can be helpful in improving mood, mental health, performance, amongst a wide range of different positive effects. So one study looked at women who mixed probiotics with their yogurt and had the yogurt twice daily for 4 weeks, and they found that they were calmer when exposed to frightening images. Another study looked at vitamin D specifically, and vitamin D is important in the winter months because we can't make it from the sun between October and March, and it's very challenging to get in food unless you eat, for example, liver. So I normally recommend that my clients supplement with vitamin D in about 1,000 to 2,000 IU amounts, depending on your body size. And this has been found to reduce negative emotion. And finally, having enough zinc in your diet is also important. So zinc is found in whole grains, legumes, meats, dairy, and it has also been found to reduce depressive symptoms. Okay, so now we'll get to holiday parties and how to avoid overindulging at holiday parties. And here I need your help again to let me know what some of your tricks are for avoiding overindulging at holiday parties.
I ask if it's doing anything for me. I take a bite and I ask myself, is it doing anything for you? And if it's not, then I'm done and I put it back in the fridge.
That's excellent. There has been lots of research into cognitive behavioral strategies where they recommend that before you go to a party, you do, as you were talking about, you think about what the benefits are of eating healthfully. When you get there, when you're about to eat the food, you ask, as you said, whether it's healthy, if there's any benefit to it. Just thinking about this can make people make healthier choices. And then at that point, thinking sort of in the long term, when you get home, how you'll feel about having the way that with the choices, the healthy choices that you made at the party. So that's an excellent strategy. Others have said they take a smaller plate, vegetable snack, and drink water earlier. And it said they make themselves believe they'll gain 5 pounds by eating certain foods. So you could do that as well, sort of a mind trick. And hydrating with water before going. All excellent strategies, and it's going to mirror some of the stuff that I'm going to talk about now. One thing that you may be happy to learn is that most of us think going into the holiday season we're going to gain like 10 pounds or 20 pounds or more than 5 pounds. Well, the New England Journal of Medicine did a study, and they found that most people, 90% of people, only gain a pound over the holiday season. Only about 10% of people gain 5 pounds or more. So that's the positive going in. But that still means that it's important for us to make healthy choices, because we want to come out of it feeling healthy, because there's other reasons for making certain healthy food choices other than weight. You want to come out with good heart health, you want to feel strong, you want to feel ready to go with your workouts. So the first very important strategy is to plan ahead. So know before you go to the party what kind of party it will be, know if it's going to be a dinner party, if it's going to be appetizers and drinks party, know what your what things usually trip you up, and have a strategy for avoiding it. So know ahead of time that when you go, you're perhaps going to situate yourself away from the snack table if it's an appetizer party. Have behavioral strategies for knowing which foods you're going to choose preferentially. Have a plan about what treats you really love. So no, I love chocolate. When I go to this party, I'm going to allow myself to have five small chocolates, maybe 2 bigger chocolates. So know what you're going to indulge in and what you're going to choose instead, because it might be you might be eating the fruit cake just because it's there and you don't even like it. So know what you're not going to pick and what you are going to pick ahead of time. Eat before you go. So this is the same strategy as you would use when you go to the grocery store. So the worst time to go is when you're very hungry, because you're going to overindulge in those sugary, fatty foods that I was talking about before. So comes bed. If it is a dinner and you don't want to feed yourself entirely, have a nice healthy snack before you go. Something with some vegetables, something with some fiber, so that you are a little bit full and you're less likely to overindulge. The third strategy someone mentioned is to fill your plate with vegetables first. And this is actually something that behavioral theorists have looked at. So looking at sort of choice architecture when we go, when we're making decisions about what to eat and trying to make healthier choices. Some of you may have heard about nudging, that concept that you're not disallowing yourself to do something, you're just putting something more prominently before yourself, so you're more likely to choose the healthier choice than the less healthy choice. So this is something that marketers have used for a long time. So think if you go to the grocery store, for example, how they place sugary cereals compared to sugary expensive cereals compared to cheaper, more healthy cereals. So the sugary cereals are at eye level, where the healthier choices tend to be very low or very high. So they're a little bit harder to reach than the ones that are worse choices for us. So if you're the host of a holiday party, think about how to set your guests up for making healthier choices. Put the vegetables more prominently, fruit more prominently. Say if you have a dessert table, put healthier foods like a shrimp cocktail would be a healthier choice than say the chips and the dip, because it would be a nice high protein, lower calorie choice. And then your guests are more likely to choose the vegetables. They actually did a study in the US with male college students who ate in a dining hall. All their foods were served to them via buffet. And for one group of students, they put the vegetables and fruit very prominently in the front and throughout the buffet. And for another group, they didn't do this, and they found that the college students who had the vegetables more prominently displayed ate an average of 350 calories less per day than the students that didn't. So just this simple little nudge can really help you. But if it's not there and you're not the host, you can make a mindful choice to choose the vegetables first when you're presented with that table. And the other tip I have is to alternate drinks. And so someone said in the chat that when they go to the party, they have mineral water first. This is exactly what I would recommend. So clearly having the alcohol-free night would be a lower calorie choice. But if you are going to have some alcohol, start with the water first, so you're well hydrated, and also you're less likely to drink as much if you start with water first. And alternate the drinks, and this will keep you well hydrated and it'll make you feel better the next day. And then the next strategy I have is to keep your hands full. So as I said before, situate yourself away from the food, keep a low calorie drink in one hand and maybe a napkin in the other hand. Find someone who's really chatty in the room, so it's more difficult for you to pull yourself away to go and nibble on the chips or nibble on the nuts or nibble on something that you wouldn't normally nibble on if it wasn't there. Some people also like to do things like bring gum to a party and clear their palate with some gum. This can be sort of a personal choice because I know some people don't like talking to people who are chomping away on gum, but you could do this and chew a piece for like 5 minutes. And then if your palate's cleared, you're less likely to want more food. If you're at home and you have lots of holiday nibblies around, brushing your teeth directly after a meal is something I would recommend because this similarly clears your palate and makes it more likely that you won't feel like, oh, going for that cookie or going for something else, because you know your mouth is clean now, you don't really feel like brushing your teeth again, so you're less likely to overeat in that way. Okay, so next up, I'll chat briefly about some simple nutrition swaps, and then I'll get your ideas of the other side about what you like to swap out, because I'm sure everyone has some really good nutrition swap ideas for making healthier choices. So the first one I have is for candy. So instead of having candy, you're probably craving something sweet, particularly if you're at home choosing frozen fruit. It's often a good choice. One, because it takes a lot longer to eat than candy does. Two, because it's sweet. And three, it's obviously a little bit healthier than candy is. Here we have a picture of frozen grapes. Another way to save some calories, so you can save about 25 to 50 calories per portion by switching from white potatoes to sweet potatoes. There's nothing wrong with white potatoes. They're perfectly healthy. They're a good source of calcium. But if in a holiday buffet, if you want to choose a lower calorie choice, depending on what's on them, because if the sweet potatoes have sour cream or maple syrup or something on them, the white potatoes don't, that negates this as a healthier choice. But sweet potatoes are a little lower calorie, and they also tend to be a little bit more packed with vitamins. If you really want to have a starch-like accompaniment and have it really low calorie, mashed cauliflower is another good substitute. Now, having the baked fruit instead of a pie is a good way to save. So a slice of pie might be 420 calories, where the baked fruit may only be 120 calories, even with the added sugar. So you're saving a significant amount of calories by switching from one to the other. Even going to a crumble will cut your calories in half. Maybe it'll be 3/4 the calories. Within the alcohol category, obviously a water would be a great choice. So picking a water that has some fruit infused would be great. But within the alcohol, the creamy Bailey's type beverages for 100 mils will set you back a few hundred calories, 400 calories, where if you pick spirits or wine, just without having a mixed drink, they'll only be about 100 calories, like a light beer for about 100 mils. So it's less than the portion size that you would have, but just as a comparison, you could save, 50 to 75% of the calories by skewing away from the creamier beverages. When you're baking, where possible, choose oil instead of butter, not because it's a calorie savings, their calories are calories the same, but because it's a healthier choice and better for your heart. Obviously, if you're making pastries, you're going to have to use the butter, but where you can, switching to oil is helpful. Even better, if you're baking, you can use applesauce instead of oil in a 1-to-1 ratio. So say the recipe calls for a 1/4 cup of oil, you can substitute that with a 1/4 cup of applesauce, and you'll get a similar product with much fewer calories. So at this point, I'd love to have see what other ideas people have for nutrition swaps that they use.
Well, this afternoon I bought a container of peanuts instead of a chocolate bar.
which is a healthier choice. It might not be, the calories may be similar, but it's healthier for you. It's better for you. It's lower in sugar. So that would be a great substitute. Just be mindful of not the portion size, because you can really get a lot of calories depending on how big a portion size. So I usually recommend like a 1/4 cup of dry roasted. But that's a good idea. Let me just get to the chat. Eat apples for dessert. Yes, you can just straight up substitute fruit for the dessert item rather than actually having the dessert. Yeah, you can choose a gluten-free flour or almond flour. Calorie for calorie, it's probably not going to be that much of a difference, but it's certainly a different choice that you could use and can have different nutrients in it. So the more variety you have, the better. So that's great. Okay, yeah. Any other nutrition swap? Coconut oil instead of butter? Absolutely. It's perhaps a little bit better than butter. Any other ideas?
Vegetables instead of chips.
Vegetables instead of chips is fantastic. That's good. And even if you use some dip, it'll be a lower calorie choice. Someone has suggested an earlier dinner. That's perfect. So if you finish eating earlier, that's great. That will be helpful with weight loss. And dark chocolate is an excellent idea. So instead of milk chocolate, having dark chocolate, and you'll get calorie savings there and way more antioxidants, which is good. And air pop popcorn instead of chips is a good swap as well. So these are all things serve at your holiday gatherings that are healthier choices. And what you can do also is serve the less healthy choices, but less of them, and serve bigger bowls of the more healthy choices. So air pop popcorn, for example, could be a big bowl where the chips might be a smaller bowl. So people, you're nudging people to make the healthier choice with the popcorn. So those are all great ideas. In summary, we are going, so this is the question for the win in terms of getting a free nutrition consultation or in-home trainer session. So the first person to enter in the chat, what's an example of a poor pre-bedtime meal choice?
French fries.
Okay, I think you win, Michaela, French fries. And Sarah, you came in a close second, and Tom as well. So yes, high fat, high sugar before bed is not a good idea because it really affects your sleep. So French fries before bed would be a poor choice. And I think Michaela was first to answer that. Okay, so in summary, to avoid draining your energy, make sure that you focus on eating fresh, healthy foods mostly, and enjoy the more indulgent foods in moderation. So master your holiday party food by going to your parties with a plan, eating first before you go. Know what you're going to treat yourself to and what you're going to focus on snacking on, and then swap less healthy choices for more healthy choices wherever you can, because every little bit counts. So if you're saving 300 calories on the type of alcohol that you're choosing, that's a big difference. If you're eating the vegetables mostly and not choosing the higher fat items, you could be saving the 300 calories a day that those college students were saving, and that can all add up to big changes in the long run, and will allow you to include those more indulgent foods in moderation. Any questions to finish off?
Yeah, Michaela, I'm going to jump in here. So I do have a question. And first of all, everybody who joined our presentation, if you do want a meal plan, we do have pre-made meal plans. If anybody wants one, we appreciate you. So just email us meal plan, the words meal plan, and we will get you a complimentary meal plan. So everybody's a winner tonight, regardless. And yeah, I just wanted to pass that around, and yeah, I'll open up the floor to questions for you. Thank you, Ashely.
You're welcome. See, Tom has raised his hand, Sorry, I just need to get in there.
Go ahead.
Okay. Hi, this is Vanessa, Tom's wife.
Oh,
And
hi.
I was listening in to this session, and great job, Ashley. Like, it's been very informative. What I was wondering is, I've always been told to sort of, when you're not hungry, stop eating. So if you've eaten and you're full, so do you have to eat a lot of fruits and vegetables? I guess what I'm wondering is, like, if I've eaten my protein and and I'm full, like my standard meal, I would say I eat like a half a chicken breast. Do I need to eat a bunch of fruits and vegetables to be balanced? Because if I'm trying to lose weight, my understanding was it's like calories in, calories out. So the fewer calories I can eat, the better. So then do I want to fill up on a bunch of fruits and vegetables versus just eating fewer calories overall?
So in order to lose weight, you do often need to eat fewer calories. You should be eating sufficient number of calories though. So it's not quite as simple as eating as low calories as possible, because you do get to a certain point where your body will start to save the calories if you're not eating sufficiently. So if you have, you should be able to, any adult should be able to have a 3-ounce portion of chicken and vegetables, and that would still be below the calorie requirements for the meal. So
Okay.
If you're only eating the chicken breast and you're full, then my question is wondering what you're eating around the meal. Perhaps you're filling up before you get to the meal. You should be able to have the vegetables as well. And the vitamins and minerals in the vegetables are very important for health and longevity. So I would venture to say the vegetables are equally important to the protein.
Okay. Well,
So
meal plan will be very helpful in that regard.
Okay. And
We'll get you,
vegetables tend
Vanessa,
to be
we'll get you a
lower,
meal
very
plan.
low calorie.
Yeah, I was going to say meal plan, much appreciated. We'll appreciate it.
Oh yeah, send us an email. We'll get you one over. And if Tom wants one as well, you're more than welcome.
So what email address are we sending an email to? 1 second.
You know what? How did you guys find? Did you guys join the link by email?
Yes.
Just respond back to that email.
Okay.
Yeah. So the one where you found the link, just respond back to that. If not, send us a message on Instagram at In-Home Trainer.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
No problem.
Any other questions?
We've got one here from Jamie. What are your thoughts on IFs? So I'm assuming intermittent fasting.
I would say that it depends on what your purpose for intermittent fasting is. And I would also say it really is individual in the response to individual fasting. So long story short, for weight loss, intermittent fasting has been found to be equally, participants or people who follow an intermittent fasting way of eating can lose the same amount of weight as people who follow a healthy eating strategy. So it's not more, you don't get more success necessarily with intermittent fasting. This is as a population. So there may be individuals within each group that do better with intermittent fasting than healthy way of eating. But in general, it's equally, you have equal success with both strategies. So if it's for weight loss, what I normally recommend is that people do what fits into their normal way, their normal lifestyle. If not eating for a long period of time is not normally what they do, that's a big change, or it interferes with their, say they're an athlete, interferes with their exercise, then I recommend against it. If it does fit into what they normally do and their normal strategy for eating, then it may be a strategy that works for you. How it normally works is that it puts, because there's a time limit on your eating, then it's a way of reducing calories overall. Intermittent fasting for longevity, there is some research to suggest that it is more helpful than eating over a longer period of time over the day, but that's sort of beginning research in mice. So that's something for the future. And there's also some indication that it may help with reducing cognitive decline later in life, but this is in research as well. So long story short, do what works for you, but make sure you're eating enough.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, Ashley, I had a quick question. Well, I don't know if it's gonna be quick, but you did mention zinc oxide as, zinc to supplement with. What do you recommend, like amount wise, and why should we supplement with zinc?
So the studies have been with zinc supplementation and reducing depression symptoms. So what I actually recommend is that if you feel you're deficient in zinc, to only supplement for 2 weeks, 50 milligrams a day, but not to supplement any more than 2 weeks, because that's enough time to get you from deficient to sufficient. Supplementing with zinc for a long period of time can give you neurological deficits. So it's important to ensure that you have enough zinc in your diet instead of using a supplement unless you feel that you are deficient.
Is that the same with vitamin B6 and vitamin B3 and 12?
The same meaning the length of time to supplement for, the same meaning it's their effects on mental health.
Their effects on mental health. Like, would supplementing more of those benefit mental health?
Potentially. They're all, thiamine, for example, is something that's important for healthy brain functioning. B12 is something that people who are vegetarian or vegan particularly, may have difficulty getting unless they're using nutritional yeast.
Yeah.
As a general rule, most people don't need to supplement with those vitamins if they're eating a healthy, well-balanced diet, because you can find them in lots of different food products, with the exception of B12 only being available in animal products. So if you're vegetarian, that might be something to supplement with. Otherwise, generally people don't need to supplement the other vitamins unless they are malnourished for some reason, like an elderly person in the community who only eats tea and toast would be the type of person who would need to supplement.
Oh yeah. Also, I have one more question. I have
Sure.
a lot of questions, a lot of clients that have gone through bariatric surgery. In their situation, because of course they have limited portions,
they need to supplement.
What would you recommend for that? Would it be more beneficial for them to focus on not necessarily one macro, but of course with their situations, one meal is going to fill up relatively faster than any other individual. So would you recommend extra small portions with each meal, or to kind of?
Yes. So normally I recommend, so for that group, they need to eat small, frequent meals. Otherwise they can get symptoms like flushing. They can feel very hot after a meal. They can get vomiting, all sorts of symptoms like that. So they need small, frequent meals, maybe 6 meals a day. Sometimes they need to separate their liquids from their solids. If even the small, frequent meals aren't working, so they eat their meal first, wait 30 minutes, and then drink their liquids. And often supplementation is required. They should know what supplements they need. After they got surgery, they'll have a pamphlet. So
there is a pamphlet. It's just hard getting them to follow it.
I know. Oh, this is good. So you see them, so really make sure that they are taking those supplements, because they end up in the hospital with nutritional deficiencies, because their absorption will be affected because of the surgery.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Looks like Tom has a question.
Sure.
Yourself.
It's Vanessa. I have a question.
Hi, Vanessa. Okay.
So I'm just curious, as a professional nutritionist, what your thoughts are on the debate between multiple small meals a day, like eating something every 3 hours kind of thing, versus 3 larger meals a day. Like, is one approach better suited to does it depend on the person? Does it depend on the lifestyle? Or is there like really one way to eat that's kind of healthier and better for people? That makes sense? I don't know if that
It
makes
does make sense. And you get different aspects, right? Different people promoting different things.
Yeah.
Like everything, it is individual. And but if you are working out and you're trying to build muscle, eating small frequent meals will result in better muscular changes than eating the 3 big meals a day. So
Okay.
if that's what your aim is, that's what I recommend. So eating every 3 to 4 hours has been shown to be a better strategy for building muscle.
Great, thank you.
And having protein at each of those eating opportunities.
Anything
Yep.
else?
That's great, thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Anybody else have any questions? Feel free to ask. We've got a few more minutes. You just recommend a multivitamin, Ashely? General approach, or no?
There's nothing wrong with a multivitamin. So if people are concerned that they're not getting enough, they can certainly take a multivitamin. Research has shown that it's not helpful for a lot of people. You pee out a lot of the vitamins and minerals. But if you feel like, particularly if you feel like you avoid certain foods, so if you have a certain allergy or you have a more restricted diet, definitely take a multivitamin. Or if you feel like, your eating's up and down, some days you eat much poorer than others and you're not eating fruit and vegetables every day, you can take a multivitamin. Vitamin D is really the only one I across the board recommend.
I have a young daughter who has a dairy allergy, so we tend to give her a lot of oat milks.
Yeah.
Just I don't know your thoughts on that, and even myself, I don't have a lot. Actually, I don't have dairy either. I actually have a slight allergy to it as well.
Okay. Yeah. There's a lot of great plant-based milk. So oat milk is one that I prefer because it's got a good source of protein, and soy milk as well, where coconut and almond milk are lower in protein. But all of those plant-based milks, most of them are fortified with calcium. So for your purposes, they all work. And I think you're doing great. So she would probably need a couple cups of that oat milk a day.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Another question, is there a specific supplement you would recommend for people who don't eat enough leafy greens?
Well, a multivitamin I would recommend for that purpose. You get a lot of good things in leafy greens. Fiber is a big one, which you can't really get necessarily from a supplement, but you could get from other foods. You get the iron, it's the antioxidants that you might be missing, that you may not get with a supplement. You could try athletic greens. I think there's some antioxidants in there. A lot of these supplements, and the reason why I'm not so hot to trot on them, it ends up being expensive if you have a big arsenal of different supplements. But if you're missing out on a particular food group, then you can pop one in there.
And yeah, Tom, I guess if you have smoothies at all, you can probably throw greens in there. Like we do that with our young kids to make sure they get their greens in there. And we throw avocado. Well, avocado's a fruit, but we'll throw in spinach, and they don't even taste it.
The spinach is perfect. If you use baby spinach particularly, it doesn't alter the taste very much at all. Yeah, that's a great strategy.
What about those green protein drinks? Another question.
Okay, I'm assuming you're talking about athletic greens. I'm not sure particularly about a protein drink specifically that is green. So maybe two different questions. So there are certain supplements that have a range of vitamins in them, like athletic greens, and there's also protein supplements that you can use in shakes. They usually give you about 25 grams of protein. Anything you choose, make sure that it's an informed choice for sports or NSF certified for sports. So this just means it's been third-party tested and it has in it what it says it has in it. Because if it's not third-party tested, sometimes they add filler, so it doesn't have the protein they say it does. Or they could make it in a facility that has lots of heavy metals. It could be cross-contaminated with other medicinal products. So just you look on the label and you'll see informed choice for sport, a stamp, or NSF certified for sport. So most of the major ones are like Vega, for example, Optimum Protein, our BioSteel are all third-party tested.
Cool. I got a couple more here for you, Ashley. Thoughts on OxyShred or thermogenic fat burners?
I would, anything that sounds too good to be true normally is. That would be my synopsis of that.
Okay. Chia seeds, hemp seeds, and flax seeds. I don't think that's a question.
Are they good to add, maybe, is the question?
Yeah.
They're all, so hemp seeds are a great source of omega fat. So I would say they're excellent to use. You could use a tablespoon of them in your smoothie, for example. They're a good source of fiber as well. Chia seeds similarly are a source of omega fats, and they're also good to have. I say variety. So you could pop in, you know, sunflower seeds sometimes, hemp seeds other times. When you finish a bag, just switch it out and choose something different. Every food will give you a different nutrition profile. And as long as it's good unprocessed food, has some good fats in it, it's probably something good to keep in your arsenal.
Yeah, like chia seed puddings are, you know, that jelly, that's okay to digest for our bodies. You know, it turns into a jelly.
Yeah, there's a lot of undigestible fiber, which is what makes it good.
Okay.
It acts as a prebiotic, so our good bacteria in our gut feeds on it, and that keeps our gut bacteria nice and healthy. So it's good for that aspect. I just watched the sugar that you add to the chia pudding. That would be my only suggestion.
Okay. What is a healthy amount of activity per day? It's almost a trainer question.
That's a trainer question. I'll leave that in. I'll let you answer that one, Mike.
So Tom, Vanessa, what I recommend, like, well, if you're a beginner, walk before you run. So we recommend at least, 3 to 4 workouts a week, and they don't have to be long. They could be even just half-hour sessions. And per day, yeah, I mean, getting out for a healthy walk, a lot of studies show that as well. It just depends on where your fitness level is, because it's really, if you're a seasoned athlete, you'll probably get away with a little bit more. But if you're a beginner, 3 to 4 times per week, just getting out for a walk every day is super beneficial. I use maple syrup or date syrup to sweeten. That's a good one, Piera. I think
That's a good one. The maple syrup will have a few extra nutrients in it that sugar, for example, may not have. It'll be the same amount of calories, but it will give you a better nutrition profile.
Perfect. Okay. I don't know if there's any more. It looks like we've answered pretty much everything. Yeah, so I'm going to wrap it up. Ashley, thank you so much. And thank you everyone for participating as well. We really appreciated, first of all, having everyone on here. And thank you so much to you, Ashley, for presenting. You did a great job. We appreciate you. And like I said, if anybody wants a meal plan, just email us back or follow us on Instagram. Send us a message there. We'll get you a complimentary meal plan. So everybody's a winner tonight. And yeah, big congratulations to Ashley, and a big thumbs up for her.
Thanks so much for having me, and have a good night, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great night.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Bye.